Assalamu alaikum class. In this video we are going to start exercise 1.4 absolute value in equation and inequalities. So at first we are going to discuss about the absolute value. The absolute value of a number is basically the distance of that number from 0 on the number line. For example, if I am going to find out the absolute value of 2, which is also named as the modulus of 2, then it is the distance of 2 from 0 on the number line, and here you can see it is 2 units. That's why we have write down 2 over here. Similarly, for the absolute value of minus 2, so absolute value of minus 2 is the distance of minus 2 from 0 on the number line, which is again 2 units. That's why its answer is 2. So whenever we are having a non-zero number, either a positive or negative, the absolute value of the that number is the distance of that number from 0 on the number line, and it is always non-negative being the distance, because distance could be 0, as absolute value of 0 will be equal to 0. So we will say that the distance is non-negative. We will not say it is positive, because positive means it cannot be 0, but absolute value of 0 is 0 and distance could be 0 as well. So it means that the absolute value of a number being the distance of that number from 0 is always a non-negative number. Next we have the absolute value of variable. So we are going to discuss that how we can define a definition or construct a definition of absolute value of a number here of a variable. So we know that if x is a variable, then it must be a real number, and there are three basic cases for real numbers, that it could be positive, negative or 0. So we will discuss the three cases separately, and then we will generalize one single definition for absolute value of a variable. So if I take x to be positive, let's suppose x is equal to 4, we can take any positive number. So clearly absolute value of x will be equal to absolute value of 4, which is equal to 4, which is equal to x. So if x is positive, absolute value of x will be equal to x. That is no change, as we have done for absolute value of 2, which was equal to 2. Next we have x is negative. If x is negative, let's suppose x is minus 3, then mod of x will be equal to mod of minus 3, which is equal to plus 3, and plus 3 can be written as minus times of minus 3, that is negative times of x, because minus 3 is equal to x. So I have just replaced the value of minus of x over here. So that is, you can see that in case of negative real numbers, absolute value of x is equal to minus times of x. Now you cannot say that it will be negative times of x means it is positive. It is going to be positive because x is negative. So this negative into this negative is going to be a positive number. So in order to make absolute value positive, we have to take negative times of x in case of negative numbers, so that negative into negative become positive. Then we have the third case, x is equal to 0. So if x is equal to 0 means the absolute value of 0, which is equal to 0, which is equal to x. So here I'm going to generalize that for x positive and x 0, mod of x will be equal to x. So absolute value of x is equal to x for x greater than or equal to 0, and for x less than 0, its value or expression is negative times of x. So this is the basic definition that we are going to use for further. Here we have the match problem 1. Absolute value of 8, obviously it's 8. Absolute value of cube root of 9 minus 2. Now cube root of 9 is equal to 2.0, that it is going to be a positive number, and for positive we have to put the number as it is. There is no change on the number. So cube root of 9 minus 2 whole absolute value is equal to cube root of minus 9 minus 2. So next we have mod or absolute value of negative times of square root of 2. So for negative, that is x less than 0, it is equal to minus times of x. So negative times of the value, which is going to be square root of 2 positive. Then we have 2 minus cube root of 9. Now we have discussed that cube root of 9 is greater than 2. So 2 minus cube root of 9 is going to be a negative number, and for negative we have negative times of x. So negative times of the expression is going to be cube root of 9 minus 2. Then we have we are going to discuss some questions related to the exercise. Question number 2, absolute value of minus 3 by 4 is equal to 3 by 4. Absolute value of 4 is absolute value of minus 2 minus into minus 6. So at first we will solve this expression and then we will find out the value. So it is minus 2 plus 6, that is 4. Then we have question number 6, square root of 7 minus 2 whole absolute value. Now square root of 7 is 2.64, that is greater than 2, so it is a positive number, so it will remain the same. But for the case 2 minus square root of 7 is going to be a negative number, and for negative number we have to put minus times of minus x. So minus times of 2 minus square root of 7 is going to be square root of 7 minus 2. Next, we are going to define the distance between the points A and B. So let's suppose we are given with the point A with coordinate A and a point B with coordinate B. So how we can find out the distance between these 2 points? So the distance between the points A and B is defined as D of AB. That is the distance between the points A and B, and we have to simply subtract the coordinates, that is coordinate of B minus coordinate of A. As we talk about absolute value of 2 is the distance of 2 from 0 on the number line, and we can write it as square mod of 2 minus 2, 2 minus 0, or mod of 0 minus 2. Similarly, if we have to find out the distance between A and B, we will write it as mod of B minus A, and we can write it as negative times of minus times of A minus B, and it will be equal to A minus B, because negative sign is mod of negative sign will always be a positive number. So this is going to be A minus B, which is the distance of B from A. So from here I can find out a result that the distance between A and B remains the same. Either we calculate the distance from A to B or B to A, the answer should be the same number. Both are representing the same expressions. Here D of AB is the distance of line segment joining A and B. Next, we have some questions. In question number 10, we have to find the distance between A and B, where A is the point with coordinate 3 and B is the point with coordinate 12. So it is going to be 12 minus 3 mod, that is 9. So here are, then we have question number 12. If A is equal to minus 9 and B is equal to minus 17, so the distance between A and B is minus 17 minus 9. So it is going to be plus 9, and 8 will be the answer for it. In the next part of the question, we are given with a real line and some points, and we have to find out the indicated distances. So for question number 14, we have to find out the distance between A and B. So where you can see that A is lying at the point minus 9, and for B the point is minus 4. So we will simply put B minus 8, that is minus 4 minus times of minus 9. So 5 will be the answer. Then we have question number 16, distance of B comma A, or the distance of B from A. So for the distance of B from A, B is at the point minus 4 and A is at the point minus 9. So A minus B, that is minus 9 minus minus 4, it is again going to be 5 in this case. Here we have the distance of D and C. D is at a point, D is at the point here 8 and C is at the point 5. So 5 minus 8, that is mod of minus 3 or plus 3 will be the answer for it. As we have discussed that absolute value of A minus B is representing the distance between A and B. So now we have some statement that you have to convert into the mathematical terms. Question number 20 is y is 3 units from 1. So whenever we are having the word unit or the expression unit for with any scalar, it means we are talking about the final result of the distance. And y is 3 units from 1, that is the distance is between y and 1. So mod of y minus 1 is equal to 3 will be the corresponding mathematical expression for it. Then we have question number 22, m is 7 units from minus 5. So n minus 5, the distance between n and minus 5 is equal to 7. Or we can write it as n plus 5 is equal to 7. Then we have question number 24, z is less than 8 units from minus 2. So we can write it as z minus minus 2, less means is equal to is less than is equal to 8. So this is the corresponding expression over here. Then we have question number 26, c is no greater than 7 units from minus 3. It means c minus minus 3 must be greater than or equal to is less than or equal to 7, and D is no more than 4 units from 5. So when we say that D is no more, then it means it cannot be greater, so it should be less than or equal to, because for any two quantities we have three relations, less, equal or greater. So when we say it is not equal to, or it is no more than, so if we have no more, then we have to put less than or equal to. If we have no less, then it means we have to take a cross on negative or less, and we have to go towards the two cases. Similarly, when we say that D is no more than 4 units from 5, so it means that the distance is between D and 5 and it is less than or equal to 4 in this case.